it was just a passing thought here and there. Not even when I seen them did I think about it much. I was like, ain't no way I'm ever getting close enough to a crow to be a friend to it. Like, no way, Jose. And then one day I just decided to. 3 months ago. Here we are. That's Kylo here. Let's go through the crow journal. I watched the crows in our horse pasture. Binoculars allow close observation from a carport vantage point. They're picking through the horse manure and eating something. Sunrise, October 29th. I stood in a spot away from the structures, out at the corner of the field. I see one fly south. I throw some peanuts and watch it keep going. I look north and one is coming low. 100 feet away, also heading south. I throw a handful and the crow did an aerial version of a squirrel in the road. It juked left and right and then kept going south. I think I spooked it. I go back to the shop and do work. An hour or so later, I look and see a crow peanut orgy. It reminded me of the cockfights before it got serious. Day 3 was Halloween, sunrise. 3 were in a tree and watched me walk out and toss the peanuts and went to work. And it feels awkward reading the journal just as I wrote it down. These are just my thoughts in slow motion. Reading them doesn't seem to have the same vibe as just perhaps telling the story of it and using these as notes. Day 4, a single crow was in the tree. And it turned out there's a tree out there that they really like to hang out at. It's an observation tree. They can see the most stuff from this one tree. So they like to sit there. I've seen a bald eagle in this tree a couple of times. Three times I've seen a bald eagle in the tree. Like the birds like this tree. It's at the corner of 3 different types of property, and my property being the one on one corner. The whole deal was I wanted the crows to see me walk out there into this spot and throw these peanuts down and then walk away. I didn't try to look at them and try to get close to them. None of that for months. I did try some weird stuff in here, and I'll read through here and figure out what that is. I'm probably just pointing it out at the damn. Hey, you can't see them. They're just tiny little black spots there. There's 20 times zoom. Yeah, look, the crow bros. Whoop, something spooked the shit out of them. November 4th, they all watched me put out peanuts. But I effed up and blew a crow call and scared them. I should have just started talking to them with my voice, or never blow the call if they're around. That's my note. Never blow the crow call if they're around. If they're not around, that'll bring them in. They're curious. They'll come in once if you blow a crow call. I've tried it several places and it works once. They'll come. So our hunters use them for hunting crows. But I used to be that mindset, but I don't do like that anymore. Strange how people change as they grow. Wednesday the 6th, I tried hanging out closer, but a work truck across the street had them spooked. Later on, the peanuts were gone. They didn't touch the cat food. I must have put cat food out that day to try to see if they liked it. November 7th, I beat them out there. Peanut fest ensued. It's not much, but I could get 2% closer to them before they take off. There seems to be like one crow that likes to be the last one out. It tolerates my presence 10% more than the rest. I counted 14 today. Also, I started talking to them in a normal voice as I walk out with the nuts. Gotta go to work. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's the morning crew. Of course, they were a lot closer before I started videoing. They grabbed some of the food. I threw the food closer, and then they carried it back to their distance there. They like to be farther away. But they are getting closer. They are getting closer. Tomorrow morning, I might try to film them flying up and getting the food there. Let's see where this guy's going. Just over there with the other dudes. Okay. Saturday the 9th, I was able to walk around 75 yards away without looking at them, and they stayed at the nut pile. I tried the different pile under the tree, but they hadn't figured that out yet. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was trying to try different locations, but they really like to be out in the open. That's something I noticed. When I put stuff like at the edge of the forest, they would go there and get stuff if it was there, but they didn't like to be over there as much as they like to be out in an open field, far away from everything. My property and the properties around that are all relatively open fields, with some trees scattered about. That's why I think they were hanging out here in the first place. November 14th, they didn't show up. I speculate there is a gut pile nearby. That was the first part of deer season. Something happens around here deer season. Everybody shoots a deer, cleans the deer, throws the gut piles out at the edge of the woods. That's right about the time I started hearing gunshots, and so that my suspicion, and I have no proof of this, is that they're eating some deer guts somewhere. You know, it was liver for breakfast that day, and that seems to trump peanuts. About the only thing that'll trump peanuts is a nice meaty snack. Oh, no, yeah, a few did show up an hour later. They prefer shade. Something else I noticed about crow behavior is like in the morning time when the sun's low and it's coming up, they really don't like to be where they can't see if there's like something for a predator to hide behind nearby. They like to keep in the shade sections, not the sun sections. They would always hang out in the tree shade in the field, not out in the sunshine. Okay, November 17th. So roughly 2.5 weeks after I started this little endeavor. Big news, a crow landed in the yard with me, and it did it several times. Also, it dropped me a peanut maybe. It dropped a peanut out of its mouth as it flew by. I don't know if that's some kind of offering or if it just maybe had 3 in there and then one fell out, because I've seen them try to carry more than they can a few times, and they struggle sometimes to get that third nut in there. It depends on how they're shaped and how wide the crow's mouth opens, I suspect. They all are noticeably hanging out closer. 30 yards is the current minimum. More like 60 yards for most of them anyway. Yay. So yeah, just 2.5 weeks, and the gap closed from 100 yards to 70 to 30 yards away. And it just took, just one step closer each day is what it kind of boiled down to. But that was only the first 2 weeks. And then there was several now, of course, notebook, or the genesis of this crow-human relationship that we're talking about here. It's just me kind of letting them see me be the ones who put out the nuts. Now, they don't trust me and they don't like me probably, but, their love for the peanuts probably trumps their disdain for humans, at least rural crows. I did the journal, but most of it became when I noticed the weather got cold about the time that the journal entries stopped. That's because I was having to wear gloves and put in electric blankets and stuff to sit out in the cold. It's cold, wind blowing, raining, it's all weather activity if you're going to do it right. And I thought, I'm going to go out there every day with these crows just to let them know that, rain or shine, Kylo would go out there. And I've missed a day or two, maybe. So I started typing things on the phone. I was able to wear the gloves with a stylus, and I would just either talk to text or, just text it in while I'm sitting there, not looking at the crows, throw them some peanuts, turn away, just sort of pretend to ignore them, look at them every now and then, take a drink of Dr. Pepper. That's how most mornings go, I sit out there, I have my drink, I do my typing, or I check the weather, or I read the forecast to them. I mean, there's all kind of dumb shit. You just talking to this camera, like doing this right here out in the shop by myself. Feels awkward. Day number 24. Oh shit, they're gone. If anything different happens, these crows are gone. That's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to make friends with the crows. I got cats and dogs running around too, so that's hard. At first I kept them put up, but I want the crows to kind of get used to my little dog, so I'm just having him sit here with me. We're just sitting out here. I let some of them see me put some bait out earlier. Bait, listen at me. More like treats, like I'm offering them treats, right? But they see the phone in my hand and it's something different. And I think they kind of freak about that because one's back. Let me see if I can show you. These are wild crows. And I don't know if I'm pointing at the thing or if I'm pointing at both of us. And we're looking into the sun. It's not the optimal setup. I'm going to try to start incorporating maybe a little bit of camera stuff and do like a daily crow vlog. I want them to get used to my voice and me talking, whether I'm talking to the dog or whether I'm talking to them or whether I'm talking to the phone here. By the way, it's the first vlog I've done in almost a year. I'm a video maker, but totally different kind of content than making friends with the crow bros. I usually make paramotor stuff, flying paramotors, teaching paramotors. That's what the videos are mostly about, but they're about my life and what my life has turned into, many, many different things. But these crows are like a hard egg to crack. Like, this is day number, 24, I said? 23, 24. They all run together. I've done it in the rain. I've done it in the muggy mosquitoes. I've done it in the cold. It's cold today. We had north wind blow through, but the crows come every morning no matter what. So I've been coming every morning no matter what. And I finally got them used to my voice, and just in the last couple of days I've had some hang out really close and we're looking each other in the eye. And if you're into crow psychology, you realize that when you look at a crow, it's almost like a big fuck you. That's the one thing that'll make them bail, is if you just mug them and look at them. I learned that pretty quick. Like, even if they're way over in the trees and you look toward the trees and walk toward them, they don't play that. They don't play that at all. They're gone. But there's a couple of them, one or two maybe, that are more tolerant of me than the others. I don't know. I might be sneaky, try to take a little bit of video every day, but this is more about just me making friends with the crows than it is me making videos about me making friends with the crows. I thought it would give me something to do just so that I could talk like gently to the camera, just so that the crows are used to my voice, and whenever they hear me start talking, they know it's me, because they're intelligent animals. They're very intelligent. They know who I am. If there's anybody else around, they bail quick. Sometimes I think I did something that spooks them, but no, man, and if I start talking too much, they bail. They don't, they want to be able to hear what's around. Look, there's one back there. But there's a thing with crows, they're hard to tell apart. You can't tell the boys from the girls. They all look exactly the same. Crows have they're asexually monochromatic is what it's referred to. I can't tell which ones are which, but there's some that I know that stay closer. I don't know if they're the same ones. They're the ones that look identical. There's one with a busted feather that I recognize. He's got a large gap in his right wing, her right wing. I don't know if it's him or her. You got to come up with unisex names for them, I guess, if you're ever going to name them. Right now, they're just the crows, and I do recognize that I've got it narrowed down to either 12 or 13, like, morning comers. Like, there's two here. There's two that may be the ones that are in the field now. Oh, there's 4 out there. I just looked over there, and I just do a glance every now and then when I'm kind of hanging out with them. But if there's any cats running around or the dogs chasing out after him, I've scolded him once or twice when he started towards the pasture. I think he knows to hang back now. But I've been doing this for almost a solid month, and just in the last couple of days, I was out here eating chicken wing or something, and one flew up and landed, and we were looking at each other, and I looked at him, and I threw the chicken wing down, and then I walked away like, I don't know, 40 yards, and he came down and got it. And then I did the same thing with some peanuts. I've been putting peanuts out. They love peanuts, but they like meat on the bone even better. Oh, look, we got a brave taker over here. I put out this morning some peanuts and a packet of old chicken in the bag, like chicken breast cutlets in the bag. Not cutlets, like shredded chicken breast parts in the bag. They seem to love it. I don't really like it. It smells like cat food or tuna fish to me. Oh, look, there's 4. Oh, I looked and 3 flew off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 10 there now, and what always happens is there's some out in the field, and there's some, oh, this is a huge moment. Like yesterday was the first time they all landed this close to me. First time. So now I'm talking. I wasn't talking yesterday, but I'm talking today. And very intelligent animals. I hope I'm even filming them. Do I suck at this or what? And it'll never not feel awkward, I fear. December. There was an interaction in December. We've had bald eagles here. On occasion, there's been 5, 6 sightings. It's unusual. They're not common around here by any means, but it appears there's some living in the area. The neighbors have seen them. I've seen them. My kids have seen them. My cousin said he walked around the shop one day and there was 3 bald eagles sitting by the pond, and they were just feet from him. They all kind of spooked each other and looked, and he kind of called me freaked out. He's like, man, that was weird. They're big. He was tripping. They were just standing on the ground by my pond behind my shop. So that was kind of that was funny to get that phone call from him. I was like, yeah, man, I've seen them. But this morning, there was a bald eagle out in the observation tree. And the bald eagle was, for lack of better words, gargling some woodland critter. I was looking into the sunrise with stabilized binoculars, and the eagle was pulling at the guts and holding down I could see fur, I could see guts, and it would scarf down as much as it could, and then it would pull, and the guts would all pull back out of his mouth. I know, it was a highly visceral scene. There's no easy way to describe what was going on. But the crows were pestering the shit out of the bald eagle, trying to get it, I suppose, to drop some woodland critter so that they could have some guts for breakfast too. And the crows were taking turns eating peanuts, pestering the bald eagle, which didn't seem to even look at them. It was just having its squirrel breakfast. And the crows were kind of, jumping around the limbs at it within feet. 3-4 feet of the bald eagle. I got a picture of it. I put a picture of it there. The bald eagle was back the next day. The next day, it was sitting in the exact same spot and the exact same limb, same tree even. But it was just sitting there. I didn't have a woodland critter for breakfast this morning. It was just sitting there looking around. And the crows kept a very wide berth around this thing. They were nowhere near this bald eagle. I usually don't eat breakfast, but that kind of gave me the idea that, if I'm, drinking a soda or putting something to my mouth, the crows might think I'm busy eating and be more comfortable to get near me. And I think it works to some level. Maybe it gave me 10 feet more closure in the distance. That's the goal, is to see how close and friendly you can get to the wild crows. I assume that's the goal, or just to be their friends. I don't know if there is any goals in this. It's just something I started watching them and observing them and, paying attention. And you don't always have to look. Crows talk a lot, so you can listen to a lot of times where they're at in the distance, just with your earballs. You don't have to stare at them. And it's important, when you're looking and walking toward them, they'll fly away. That's just what they do. It's just programmed in their little crow brains. Man, they're cautious little boogers, coming out here for a month, and they're still nervous about getting closer to me. But they will land in the field with me, as long as I don't talk too loud. I scared them off a while ago. I was like, "Good morning," like a fucking fool. But apparently they don't really care to be yelled good morning at. I don't even have to use the binoculars anymore. I can just sort of, this guy, he's coming in pretty close. But they see me over here. I'm moving around a little bit, drinking my Dr. Pepper. No big sudden moves, no real loud voices, but they're slowly coming in. This morning was a little weird. They all passed me by. They usually meet me at sunrise, but they all passed me by this morning. They went south. I heard an owl last night. I have no idea if one has something to do with the other, but I heard the owl south of here, and every crow this morning came over at sunrise, flew across the field, called at me a couple times. One or two landed in the tree, that tree. They usually meet at that tree in the morning, and then they fly down here, and now they're gone. I moved a little too much for them. But I put out some salmon and some sunflower seeds. I'm just curious if they like those this morning. We'll find out. Just a few days after the bald eagle. Oh, you know what? Just to finish the eagle story, the thing came back a month later, weeks. I don't know. It all kind of runs together. I saw the crows kind of panic scatter, I knew something was going on. This was in the early morning light. Bald eagle flying through the pasture, made a pass at the crows, tried to eat a crow for breakfast, I assume. And the crows, mobbed at it and did their little crow fight song. And it was a big ruckus, but a bald eagle, and he went back to the observation tree and he looked around for a while. And at that point he saw me. The eagle seen me out there too. But I was just sitting still, not looking too much, not being a threat, just sitting there. And it made another pass, tried to catch crows again. So, interesting observations. One morning there was the eagle, there was the crows, and there was like a 6-point buck at the corner of the yard. And then I'm seeing all these animals at one time. It's like a dang, exotic zoo around here in Shongaloo sometimes. It was kind of fun. But I saw deer a couple times, bald eagle 3-4 times while I've been feeding these crows. But yeah, after the eagle went after the crows and they sort of attacked it, it hasn't been back around. Maybe it give up on this sort of hunting territory. But it was just a couple days after that. I was looking back at the post that I had made, and a crow landed in the yard with me on the same side of the fence that I was standing on. And that's never happened to my memory in my life. Maybe in the city, where like at a Walmart downtown somewhere, throwing some stuff to some crows. In fact, that was in Arizona years ago. I was coming back from Salton Sea trip, and I stopped at a Home Depot or a Walmart. I can't remember. It was a big box store of some sort. I needed some brackets to mount something on the wall of my trailer, and I just bought some whatever little L brackets, I think, are what I needed. So there was some crows in the parking lot, and I threw a couple pretzels out to them, and they stopped and paid attention, and I went inside the Walmart and did my business, and they were still there watching the pretzels when I came back out. I didn't know these crows. It was the first time I met them, but they were clearly paying attention to what I was doing. They're much closer, just on like a light pole in the parking lot, much closer than I'd ever been around crows like out in the country where I'm from. They don't get close around here, so it was interesting just to see that gap close, substantially, landing like 35, 40 yards from me, same side of the fence. And I'm standing there like, oh, this can't be real. Birds aren't real, right? Happy morning. What is today? December the 2nd. And I've got these crows. These are wild crows. They're roughly okay with my voice. They don't mind me looking at them every now and then. And I don't do many vlogs, but I found that just having the camera and being able to talk to the camera, or when I get a phone call early, I notice that that's something I can do where I'm not just talking to myself or the crows out here in the yard each morning, but it lets them kind of get used to the way I really talk, and they don't seem to mind. But yeah, I put out some peanuts and some sunflower seeds, and they tend to really like the peanuts, but they like the sunflower seeds too. And I put some far away and I lead some closer, and as they eat them, it forces them to kind of get closer and closer and closer to me. And of course, yesterday I had one landed maybe 15 yards away, which was a new record, new personal best anyway. If you position yourself where you're not staring straight at them, I mean, let's see, I'm going to turn my head and look at them. Let's just see what happens. So, oh, nothing. Well, one of them's kind of giving me a look, but. Just a side note, something I noticed is when you look away from them is when they tend to light out. If you stare them down, they kind of freeze. And then when you turn your head and you look back, they're usually gone. This is why. Perfect example. Again, at this point, these crows are kind of cool with me. Now, obviously, I can't tell the crows apart. There's a couple of them that have identifying marks, and I'm able to see who they are. And one of them, well, both of them when their wings are open. When on the ground like that, I can't tell one from the other. They all look the same. They all look the same. But I know it's got to be the same crows because I recognize the two that I recognize regularly. So I know it's the same group that's coming early. There's, 5, 10, 12. There's usually 12 on the ground and then a couple out of the distance that tend to show up in the morning for breakfast. And some days I've had 18, 22, but mostly it's 10 to 12 that are out there pecking around, that are getting close to me in the morning. As the day goes on, they tend to get further away. You know, I guess the drive for the peanuts is overpowering the drive to stay away from this homie over here sitting in the corner. But it's just been a slow process, and slowly they tolerate me a little more and they get a little closer every day. But I thought making a little vlog would just allow me to put my voice in the air where I don't feel crazy for talking to myself. At the same time, I'm not spooking the crows either. Because the first time I talked around them, they bolted. The second time I talked around them, they bolted. It was maybe the 10th time they actually heard my voice that they didn't all fly away. So there's that. I ain't vlogged in a while, so I thought this might be a neat thing. This is what I do at sunrise every morning, is put out some kind of treats for these crows and watch them come in and eat. And they hang out in the pasture, and I just hang out here on the table and have my Dr. Peppers and do my morning waking up with the crows. So I got to tell you about Crowbro. Crowbro came along, I know what to do with my hands, somewhere around a month. I don't know the exact day, but I was having lunch in the yard. I was eating a chicken bone and I was eating a chicken thigh, and there was a little bit of meat on the bone left at the ends there. And I'm just eating this thing in the yard. I'm not even thinking about the crows. This is like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I was probably, I don't know what I was doing, just puttering around the yard like I usually do, watching nature, listening to the wind blow. But this crow landed on top of the power line right over my head, like right over me, 30 feet away from me. Kind of started doing this call, kind of the call that it does that I've mentioned. I just looked up at this crow, landed right there. I was like, whoa, hey, and like this may be my opportunity. So I just, as I looked up at it, I just threw the bone kind of gently toward it and turned and walked back, 40 yards. And then I went over to the treehouse. I sat down on the step, and then I looked at the crow again. It was still on the power line. It never moved. And when it sat down, I looked at it and I said, there's the chicken, go get it. And it flew down there and got that chicken bone and flew up to its little perch on the pole there. And so in this tree right here, you can't see him, but he's in the top of that tree. I got a crow friend. I got some peanuts here, and I come out here and give him these peanuts every day about this time. He makes this special call that I recognize. I know that's terrible content, looking into the sun, but if I look toward the crow, he don't much like that. I only look at him when I put out the peanuts. Look over there and throw him a few of those peanuts and give him a look. And then I just walk back over here toward the house and pretend like I don't see him. We'll see if we can video him flying in there and getting the peanuts. He comes close to me when he's like getting my attention, but when I come out here to where I feed him, he gets back a little bit and kind of hangs loose. I say he like it's a he. It's maybe a she. You can't tell them apart. I don't know. They're crow's pronouns. I think I'm going to pretend it's a boy crow. I call it Crowbro. It's just my Crowbro. I gave it a treat one day, and it started following me around the yard, kind of calling at me. I'll walk around the house over here, and whenever I get out of sight, he'll come back. He's still sitting over there in that tree. I give him a backwards glance. They almost play peekaboo with you. We're going to go right over here and stop. And then we're going to switch this camera around here. And that only took just a few seconds. He's going to fly over here and land on the power line. And he'll just think about it for a little while. He'll make that call. Well, go get them. I threw the peanuts out there for you. Go get the peanuts. Yep. And there he goes. He got his peanut. Oh yeah, he'll fly over here to this pole to eat it. That's his eat my treats pole. Look, see there? He landed right up there on that pole. And he'll eat that peanut, and then he'll go down there and get another one. Every day that I'm home and he catches me out in the yard, you know, there'll be crows in the distance. There's always crows around. They're social birds, like very social. Like he's not just gonna hang out with me because of me, but he knows where his bros are, and he'll get away from the edge. It's usually an afternoon thing. I think he's a little more relaxed in the afternoon, but my voice don't seem to bother him. But proximity is a deal, though. Like they're skittish, and you got to give them their room, especially the rural crows. They're even more skittish than the urban crows. Urban crows, you know, they see people all the time. These crows, very likely, I'm probably the only person that they even tolerate in the slightest. Anybody else is a threat. Anybody else, I've tested it. Like, had the family come out in the yard, like, hey, y'all, stick your head around the corner, open a door, whatever. Neighbor moves, you know. Them crows, they just bail. They don't play no part of anybody else, but they tolerate me just fine. So, but I'm gonna sit around here and just talk to my crow while it eats its peanuts, and that's our thing. I just wanted the video. It's the first time I videoed it, like with a cell phone. I've taken some video of the crow doing his thing, but this is our little afternoon dance that we do. And I even thought about it early today, and I put some peanuts in my pocket ahead of time so I wouldn't have to go inside whenever he'd come out here to holler at me. Be like, hey man, I think he's got me trained more than I got him trained, but it's like a little dance that we do, a little crow human dance, and it's just the one that does that with me. I guess it's one. They might be taking turns for all I know, but I can hear differences in their calls, and I couldn't at first, but you know, now the same group is around. A lot of them do sound the same, but I know that particular call that crow does. I know it. I hear it. And I'm like, oh, that's my crow bro. That's my crow bro. I can't tell the way he looks, but I can tell the way he sounds, especially when he does that little slow call at me. That's the thing that I guess it does at me. Nobody really understands crow language. That's the thing. That's all there is to it. He'll get his nuts, and we'll be on our way and have breakfast again in the morning. And we do the same thing basically every day since then. If I'm here, that is. That's not a daily occurrence. Morning breakfast is a daily occurrence, but afternoon interactions are brought on by the bird. Crow bro comes and finds me. Sometimes I'm in the backyard climbing a tree, or I'm sitting under the carport having lunch, or I'm splitting firewood. But at some point, I will hear that call over my head. And if I'm out in the field, it'll just circle me. It'll just fly circles around my head, calling at me until, you know, it's time for the treat. And so, you know, I guess the crow's got me trained more than I got the crow trained. I guess the goal, what's the goal we should set for ourselves with crow bro? Have it come land on my shoulder, you know, me hold a treat in my mouth and let it peck? That would be disgusting. And that's no way. No, I never let a crow touch my lips. That's the story of crow friendship, and just how simple of a thing it is. I guess you got to let wildlife approach you. Show them that you're friendly. Food's the way to win anybody's heart. I mean, you win my heart with some food. I ate tacos for supper tonight, and it was just, you know, fantastic. They were good tacos. I had a street truck. Oh, I got a Mardi Gras parade in North Louisiana today, and it was music and tacos, man. And I got off work and walked straight from work to the taco truck. I didn't even stop at my truck to go home yet. And I got Al Pastor. Okay. Off tacos. So the rest of this COVID video. Why can't I speak? The crows are probably coming in for breakfast. If I face away from them, I put the food a little closer this time just to see. Oh, I can't zoom in this mode. Let me switch. They're going to have a council meeting about whether they should go eat that chicken that I put out there. It's a little close for comfort, but because I'm facing away from them and I'm doing something else right here, I don't think they'll care very much. It's kind of weird filming, holding the phone kind of next. Oh, shit, look at me. Can't even do it. They're going to give it some thought, though. They're still not sure. They're still not sure. It's usually out a little closer to the road, and they come in no problem, but it's also raining, a little dimmer. That requires a crow council meeting about who's going to go in and get a chicken bone first. Also, they also think it's a trap every time. Every time I change the food, they think it's a trap. And when one gets one, the rest of them will follow it and try to chase it and get it. Instead of just getting another one out of the pile, they're funny suckers. Let's see who goes in first. Who is that? I'm in such an awkward position holding this phone. I'm just trying to be still. They don't mind my voice. I talk all the time, and they don't fly away when I say anything, which is kind of funny. But if I look at them, that makes them real nervous. So I'm looking at the phone kind of down away at the side, and they can't even see my eyes, so they know that I'm not staring at them directly. But that's just some crow psychology 101 for you. I've been watching these suckers for several months now, and one of them is much more friendly to me than others. In fact, this morning when I went out there and put the food, there was a crow in the yard, and it didn't fly away. I think that's the first time that happened. So that took, let's see, November, December, January, 3 months. 3 months it took. Who's going to get a chicken bone? Who's going to get a chicken bone? My wife made chicken vegetable soup, I guess, what you call it. I guess they're just having a talk about it. I put some peanuts and sunflower seeds out there too, so there's stuff to eat. But those chicken bones are concerning them. You can see them just in front of those crows there on the ground. Oh, I can zoom maybe on this one. Oh, let's try. Yeah, see the chicken bones there? Oh, that's the chicken bones. See if we can focus on that. But they don't know what they're going to do yet. It's a mating. I'm curious. I'm gonna keep filming until one of them, because they will go in eventually. There's just no way around it. They're gonna go in and get those damn chicken bones. They're too good. But boy, they're undecided. It's funny when one goes in, it'll be like it's trying to get a snake. Have you ever tried to grab a snake by the tail? That's exactly how they go in for some sort of new pile of food. Grab it and run quick. Oh, somebody get one? I missed it. I swear I'm going to have a crick in my neck if I try to look at my phone, because my whole body's facing exactly away from these crows. It's the only way to get them closer, I found. If you just turn sideways, that's okay too. I'm just turned exactly sideways, but if they think I'm looking at them at all, I guess game over. And if I shift the chair and they'll think I'm trying to stand up. They'll probably all fly away too. They're not too keen on me moving around a lot whenever they're having their crow council meetings about the new food in the yard. And I can't tell. They may be going in at this point. Everybody getting a, yep, okay. Yeah. Just like I said, grab and run. And then look, everybody's chasing the guy who got one. Or the girl. I don't know. You can't tell the girls from the guys. They're all the damn same. And it's raining all day today. Kylo's house every morning at sunrise. But if you come, they won't, because I'm the only one that the crows will have breakfast with. I don't know. It happened. There you go. I'll see you on the next one. Much love. Kyle out. You see my crows? I sit out here and they get close to me now. It's been several months. I started end of October and it is mid-January, late January. So these guys are kind of used to my voice, used to my face. Still flighty. They still flighty. But they tolerate me. They don't tolerate anybody else. If the neighbors move, if the kids come out, if the wife peeks out the window, they're gone. Me and my little dog, that's it. They do their crow stuff. They don't have to have me feeding them peanuts and sunflower seeds, but they like them. And I give them some for breakfast every morning, and sometimes table scraps too, if there's more than the little doggo would eat or should eat. To the crows it goes. So there's this crow right here by the fence. I think it may be one of the locals. I don't know if it's hurt. This is the closest I've ever been to one, and I'm looking at it, and it's clearly nervous, but it ain't flying away, and that's got me tripping. I don't know if it's sick or I'm not sure. I think maybe I should try to approach it. Let's just see. I mean, it looks like a full-grown crow. It's hiding on the other side of the. I'm gonna walk over here and see what's up. If I can tell if this crow is hurt or sick. Like it tried to flap and it really couldn't. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Okay, I got it in sight. If anything, I'll try to herd it over to my side of the property. I'm sure the crow probably sees me as a threat. I don't want to overly stress it out, but. You know, I'm not looking at it. I'm just walking by it. I'm pointing the camera at it, looking at the camera. Crow's pretty cool. I expect this may be one that knows me. I don't know. You all right, crow? Hey, morning, crow. Those are sounds that I make when I'm just, at the house. This guy is walking around. Let's see if we can zoom just a little bit. I always wondered if I'd ever come across another injured crow. It's been some years since I have, and I'm not looking at it. I'm just tried to take a little step there. I don't want to. No. It's okay, Bubba. Don't. It's okay. I ain't trying to get you. I just want to come over here close to you. He looks hurt. Wing, maybe his wing's hurt. I hear other crows in the background there. I'm gonna maybe put the camera off because holding the phone out probably doesn't help much. Just standing here talking, making sure that it knows I'm not trying to eat it or anything. Yeah, like it's having trouble flapping. Like clearly this crow can't fly away, or it probably would have by now. Mother Nature, frankly, is just and I know how good a crow would be that can't fly. Also, I think it's illegal to keep them. I just wonder if there's anything I could do to help the poor little thing if it can't fly away. I mean, it's got family over here somewhere. It's alive. It doesn't look particularly healthy. I gave it a bowl of water there. I'm not sure if it'll take a drink or not. At this point, I may just watch it and see if it lives and if, keep the cats from getting to it. It's probably just terrified that I'm around. I might just close it back up in this box, set it inside in the cool. Y'all, Crow Bro didn't make it. So we're going to send him off with a proper Jedi funeral. That goes sometimes. You hear that? He's right on top of that pole, right there. That's Crow Bro. So apparently one of his kinfolk died the day before yesterday. Yeah. The crow that allowed me to pick it up was apparently in its death throes, and it didn't make it. I suspect it probably died around sunset. I picked it up. I knew something was wrong. You know what? I put it in a dark box. I was going to call the wildlife people, actually. I never got to that. I was going to put some chicken wire up in the dog kennel just to let it be outside, but to keep the cats from killing it is basically what my idea was. If I put it outside, it could hear its friends, sort of thought. So I went to the store, got some chicken wire. When I come back, the crow was dead. I think it was one of the locals. I think it was. But I was worried that it was Crow Bro because the day that it happened, I didn't see Crow Bro. And Crow Bro, where'd Crow Bro go? Gone. Oh, it's coming back. It's coming back to get some chicken. Check this out. There's Crow Bro doing a flyby. Seeing what I'm up to over here. And it's going to fly right over there. And he's already had a snack, so he may be full. Birds, you've heard eating like a bird. They don't eat a whole lot. Like when you throw a packet of chicken and they take a good old chunk or two out of it, like it fills them up, and they don't want to eat more than that. Sometimes they'll steal some and go hide it, but sometimes they just hang out and watch the food. That's just crow behavior. But he's still over there doing his call. I think I'm gonna move my chair. Better suited to observe Crow Bro. And sometimes I have my
my very powerful camera. I sit out here, but I don't do photography every day. It's kind of cumbersome to pull out and do that sort of thing. I suspect they'll be back down there. They being Crow Broer's brethren will be back to get the offering of protein. Try to do protein once a week, maybe. The rest of the time it's just peanuts and sunflower seeds. Every now and then, I think, you know, give him a chicken leg or something. And so Crow Bro is going to make some shitty cellular phone footage today. 13.5 times magnification. I threw like 2 potato chips and then a packet of chicken. Oh, and he's off. Probably got something in his mouth. And he's gonna fly up there. They like to be off the ground. They're vulnerable on the ground, so they prefer to be on a higher perch. Again, that crow may be full on whatever they were eating before they came over here to see. Still hear them. Usually when they're done, they take off. They're having some kind of conversation out in the yard. I don't understand crow, but I know the call that the one makes to me. That's it for your daily dose of crow. What's up, Kyle out? You know, as usual, they left the area, but I could tell they didn't leave the area. As always, every time this happens, I think, you know, what did I do something? Like the crows flew away. Was it me? No. I hear a tractor coming down the road. I'm just now hearing it way down the road. Those crows, they see the tractor way before I do. A while ago, they flew away, and I thought, what's weird? My son was feeding the horses some hay. One of them's kind of preening itself. Oh, where's this one going? Where's this one going? Oh, the neighbors were moving around the yard. That's what's going on. They bugged out because I could hear the neighbors going on in the yard. So there's that. So if you made it to the end of this thing, you know, my heart goes out to you because there's just, what do you say about it? I mean, I guess I've talked about it for a half hour now. I know a lot of this stuff probably repetitive, but that's where it kind of stands as it is. Every now and then I'll look back and there'll be a crow, you know, 15 yards to the side of me eating something. I'll look at it, it'll fly back to, you know, it's 20, 30 yard buffer. That's about where, we'll call it 15 meters is sort of the radius that they give me if I'm sitting still. If I'm moving around, that goes back to about 50 meters. You know, if I get still again, then and they tend to come back, but they're slower to come back and quick to go away. And that's just the nature of a crow. My observations are very limited. I've only been doing this for 3 months and change at this point. I've got one crow that comes to me and, you know, it calls at me. I give it a treat and it does the same little thing. I showed you an example of that in this video. I know I did because I recorded one day the other day. I recorded the whole interaction of how we do this thing, or an example of it. Sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's a different thing. But I just kind of go back to that first place that I was at when I gave it that first chicken bone. When it hollers at me, it'll go get me if I'm in the back 40. But if it goes and gets me, we'll go to that place and do the treat of the day, whatever that may be. But I always give that crow a special treat. They're probably psyching me out. It's probably a different crow every day that looks alike, and they're just communicating to each other that if they go do that, this fool will throw you something to eat. Yesterday, though, 2 crows came for Crow Bro afternoon interaction, and that was a new development. That's where we're at currently. Yesterday, 2 crows came for the afternoon treat, and I got like a little footage of that. I know I do. I'll put that on here. But some neighbors came moving around, and no, it was my friends coming to go fishing, and the crows bugged out, and I was like, what the hell are they bugging out for? And I kind of walked around looking like something's going on. That's the thing that has also sort of evolved with the entire interaction, is that when the crows are around and they flight, you know, and it's not something I did, like jump up out of my chair at them or something like this. There's something else going on. There's somebody else moving around within eyeshot of these crows. And so that's something that I've you know, just observed these things. I never used to observe crows. I was always observing buzzards and hawks and eagles and things that could show me how the thermals and the air is moving. And the crows, the way they operate is, you know, they take off and they just flap. They just flap and go where their mission is. They'll do a short glide and then they'll land. And that's how American crows fly. It's a flight style. If you do any sort of bird watching, you can tell a falcon
from a buzzard, from a crow, just by the way they flap their wings and sort of their mannerisms in the sky. It becomes easy to tell if you look at it anything enough. You become hyper observant as to what things are going on. But I never observed the crows until 3 months from, ago. And in the meantime, I read several things about them. I wanted to learn what was going on with these strange animals. I knew that they were intelligent, but I had no idea that these guys are tool building and puzzle solving and doing things that people do. But they just got a beak and wings. They fly. So they're just different animals, but it's an interesting interaction. And I'm glad I did it and that I'm doing it. It's not something that I plan on stopping, and I might video some more interactions. If anything's changed. Like I say, there's 2 crows that came to Crowbro Fest yesterday, and maybe 2 more will come tomorrow. And I've also read in somewhere that when they're preening themselves, like doing their feathers in your presence, like that means they're pretty comfortable with you. So, but again, it's the hardest, most frustrating thing about becoming friends with crows is you don't recognize your friends because they look like all the other thousands of crows that could be around. Oh, just that brought another sort of point that I want to make, since this is the full crow video to this point. On 4 different occasions, maybe 1,000 crows flew over the house. There's the 12 or 13 that come to breakfast. Thousands flew over on 4 different occasions. And the days that they flew over, my local crows, their behavior was a bit different. Again, you start noticing sort of some rhythms with the interactions and how they move and operate. And, I'm paying attention to them in the distance now, even audibly. I can't see what they're doing, but I can hear what they're doing. I can hear when they have like a relaxed cawing or if there's a fight going on between something. I don't even see most of these things. But if I hear a ruckus and they don't come for treats and breakfast, like I know something's going on, owls, hawks, people. I don't know. Maybe each other. There might be, encroaching crows coming on the territory, get peanut stash. I'm not sure. But that's the most frustrating part, is you're not exactly sure which crows are which sometimes. But I've noticed old Busted Feathers, he's noticeable because of the gap in his wing. I've seen him at different fields, and it's allowed me to kind of understand how far these groups of crows go. So I know which ones are hanging out in my yard or hanging out 2 blocks over in the other neighbor's yard, because I see Busted Feathers out there. And so I know their local haunts just because of the one crow that I recognize in the murder. And it's not my Crowbro. The one with the Busted Feathers is actually one of the more skittish ones that are flighty. They'll take off on a whim no matter what. If I do something or if anybody does anything, if another crow jumps, they'll fly away. Scared of the peanut pile kind of crow. That's sort of its, demeanor. But the ones that act, kindly, they all look the same. I'm not sure who's who. So that's, again, the most frustrating part. And getting up early when you're tired. Sometimes I stay up late. I'm a insomniac. So getting up early has changed sort of some habits, like when I go to bed, whether I'm going to drink that extra beer or something if I'm having a beer in the evening. But it was just some minor changes that I had to do in my lifestyle to make this sort of thing a reality. And it's something I've pondered on for many years, 20 years or more. I've thought about, what if I could have a crow friend? That would be interesting. But it was just a passing thought here and there, Not even when I seen them did I think about it much. I was like, ain't no way I'm ever getting close enough to a crow to be a friend to it. Like, no way, Jose. And then one day I just decided to, 3 months ago. Here we are. I'm going to cut the video now. I hope you got something out of it, enjoyed this, whatever. But that's my making friends with a crow story. And, they might get closer, when the babies come. Maybe I'll have them landing on my shoulder and, call them cow instead of call. So we'll see how that goes, man. I'll update you on the video if anything changes. But that's your Kylo Crow video right there. I hope you enjoyed it. Much love, everybody. Kyle out.